Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and the next expansion for Hearthstone is now updated into Hearthstone so we can actually look at the cards. It's the way to look at them: you click on crafting mode and then you click include uncraftable cards, and then you come over here to Rumble and that will work for us. So last time we looked at the Druid cards, this time we're going to look at the Hunter cards, trying to move fast and be efficient, so let's just jump into it. First card we have is a 1 mana, 1 attack, 1 health minion that's a beast type called Spring Paw. It has Rush, which means it can attack a minion on its first turn, and a Battle Cry to add a 1/1 Lynx with Rush to your hand. So you play this on like the second turn, and then you could attack a minion if there was a minion on your opponent's side on the second turn, and then you could summon the 1/1 Lynx also and attack the minion that way. It's probably not the greatest of cards ever, but it in a way might very well be a step up better than, say, the cat cards that the Hunter had before, where that was a 1 mana 1/1 minion that just automatically summoned another 1 mana 1/1 minion, but neither one of them had charge or rush, so they couldn't attack. This would work a lot better with the Scavenging Hyena, which I still think ever since that card has been introduced has been a major idea and card that you want to play if you're playing Hunter. Unless you're playing something like Spell Hunter. Yeah, this would definitely work better with Scavenging Hyena. So that's a good card. So far, of the cards I've seen, none of them seem awful, which is a step in the right direction, certainly. Next, we have a 1 mana spell called the Beast Within. It's an epic rarity. Give a friendly beast +1/+1, then it attacks a random enemy minion. That's a little bit of a trade-off, certainly, because you could play it and have your minion attack something that's way more powerful than it is and end up killing your minion. But being only 1 mana, I imagine you'd play it at an earlier point in the game where minions could easily be killed with a 2/2 attack, so it might be a sacrifice play, which isn't even a terrible thought for the Hunter, because Hunter class cards generally are sacrifice plays where you are trying to trade minion for minion, so this is right in line. Next we have our first weapon, a 2 mana, 2 attack, 2 durability weapon called the Headhunter's Hatchet. It's a common rarity. Battle Cry: if you control a beast, it gains +1 durability, making it a 2 attack, 3 durability weapon. Now, weapons in general have always been the forgotten stepchild in Hearthstone. They still have yet to do something really great with the idea of weapons, and a lot of the weapons have gone into wild because I think they feel at least like they started on the wrong foot and made a lot of weapons too powerful. So this might be the beginning of Activision Blizzard here trying to improve their weapons strategies by introducing slightly weaker weapons or more varied weapons. Yeah, and the Hunter having weapons certainly makes sense thematically. Next we have a 2 mana spell called Revenge of the Wind. Summon your beast that died this turn. That could be easily used very well because there's a spell card that summons, say, 1/1 boars with a charge, I believe. So if you were to summon 7 of those, have them attack minions and die because they're attacking minions, and then play this, you'd get another 7 pretty cheaply. Meanwhile, if you have Scavenging Hyena running, side by side, say 6 boars, 1/1 boars would charge, that would be like 12 minions that would die on your side in one turn, pumping up the scavenging hyena very possibly to over 30 damage in 1 or 2 turns. It could be a game over with just like 3 cards, 3 card combos. That's a great idea. Certainly something I've wanted to see in Hearthstone a lot more of, and you really haven't seen a lot of that. Next we have a 3 mana, 2 attack, 4 health minion called Blood Scalp Strategist. Battlecry: if you have a weapon equipped, discover a spell. Discover being a key phrase where you're given 3 random options. In this case it would be 3 random spells, and you just click on one and then that goes into your hand. It doesn't get activated though, so you still have to spend the mana to then activate the spell. And I very much wanted to see Hearthstone go more in the Yu-Gi-Oh style of card games, where you can have Exodia with 5 cards and just win the game immediately like that. They've started to do little things like that. Mechathune is there, but it still takes a lot of time. And I feel like for as much time as people end up having to spend, just because of the daily quests being really difficult, even though they've made them easier recently, like between having an Americas, an Asian, and a European account, so I have 3 accounts that I play, I'm doing 9 daily quests every 3 days. It's 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. That's a lot for me, particularly when I admit I don't really like playing Hearthstone that much. So, I mean, that's kind of a special case, but it's not insane that somebody would be playing an hour every 3 days. So 2 or 3 hours every week of a game just to do daily quests and do nothing else. Just to stay ahead of the curve and potentially succeed. Next we have this 3 mana spell called Master's Call. Discover a minion in your deck. If all 3 are beasts, draw them all. So in this case, when you would play this, it would pick 3 minions out of your deck at random. If you only have beasts in your deck, this would always give you all 3 of those beasts. And on top of that, if you only have 3 beasts in your deck at all, you would know exactly what 3 beasts you just drew. If you were specifically trying to make a slightly more balanced Spell Hunter deck, because Spell Hunter kind of needs you to not have any minions in your deck at all. This might be a way of having 3 beasts in your deck and then playing this card and then activating some of the Spell Hunter things. I'm not sure I got to my point in that last conversation. The reason why something like Exodia would be preferable in my mind in Hearthstone, something where you can win on the first or second turn just because of random dumb luck instead of skill. And inherently this is always an argument between the top tier legendary players who want Hearthstone to be 100% predictable and skill, and regular new players who want some luck and randomness in it. If there was more luck and randomness about how you could win quickly, I would think that a lot of players, a lot of low tier players and a lot of medium tier players wouldn't end up in a lot of games where it takes 30 turns or more to win. Very, very often it takes way too long, and it feels like it takes way too long to win in Hearthstone. And often at times you feel like you're about to win and then you lose. And so then it feels like you've invested a lot of time and not gotten any reward for it. So I just kind of feel like the balance is off for most players. It's probably great for top tier league players of Hearthstone, but that doesn't help most people. We need a strong non-professional player base in any collectible card game. Anyways, moving on, we have a 3 mana 0 attack 3 health minion called Spirit of the Lynx. It has stealth for 1 turn, which turns out to seems like that's going to be a thing for this expansion. They didn't create a new key phrase per se. I guess it technically is a key phrase, but it's not a new key word. Stealth for 1 turn. It's probably not that good so far. Whenever you summon a beast, give it +1/+1. Yeah, I could see using this though. Yeah, you play this and then you cast a spell that summons a bunch of 1/1 boars with charge, and then all of a sudden they're 2/2 boars with charge. Unless it means only whenever you summon from your hand and not summon from a spell. So that probably isn't how it works. It probably would still give beast +1/+1. So yeah, another card that seems to synergize pretty well. I can see Hunter moving up in the ladder as far as heroes to play. I'm not really sure what are the good heroes to play and what are the bad heroes to play. I would say Mage is inherently always like one of the worst heroes to play. Unless you're a new player, then it's a good hero to play. And Warlock and Warrior have always been kind of bad. Rogue has been kind of bad. I'd stick to Paladin, Priest, Shaman, Mage. Yeah, Mage, no Mage. Hunter. Next we have a 5 mana spell called Baited Arrow. Deal 3 damage. Overkill, summon a 5/5 Devil Store. Again, overkill is if you do more damage than was necessary. In this instance, you're going to spend 5 mana. If you attack something with 2 or less health, it would summon a single 5/5 Devil Store. Unless I misunderstand how overkill works. If I was to say attack something with, let's just say 0 attack and 1 health, then it would do 2 points of damage overkill. But I don't think that means that it would summon 2 5/5 Devil Swords. If it does mean that, that would be amazing. And really they should think about making some legendary cards that work like that. Maybe not even in the regular game, but just in a single player expansion, a hyper overkill idea. This isn't terrible though, because you're spending 5 mana and you're getting a 5/5 Devil Sword, unless you're just playing it very, very poorly. And if you're playing it very, very poorly, then I guess it's a bad card, because dealing 3 damage for 5 mana is rather expensive. But it's actually very good as long as you play it right. Let's move on. Next we have a 5 mana 3 attack 2 health beast called Halazi the Lynx. Battlecry, fill your hand with 1/1 lynxes that have rush. It's a beast class minion. Now I know they're going to deal with the Loa in this new expansion, but there's no real indication that Halazi the Lynx here is a Loa character. That's not a new minion type. It's not saying like Loa Halazi the Lynx, which it clearly could have easily squeezed that text in there. So while they're teasing that idea, they're not synergizing that idea and making a new class around it, at least so far from what I've seen. Then finally, I believe our first 10 mana spell. Technically this is a hero replacement card, which is a spell, and so because it's a hero replacement card, it changes your hero attack from the hunter attack that does 2 damage to a hero by default to Berserker Throw, which just deals 2 damage. That's not much of a change there, so that really wouldn't be a reason why you'd spend 10 mana to do this. You do get 5 armor, but it's really going to come down to this battle cry. Battle cry: cast all spells that you've played this game. Targets are chosen randomly. So immediately I have a problem with this card. One of the most annoying top meta decks right now is people playing Shudderwalk. Because Shudderwalk, I may be mispronouncing its name, causes all of the battle cry cards, I believe, to be cast over and over again. So most people can play cards that will duplicate and return all the duplicated Shudderwalks to their hand. So you play Shudderwalk once, then you've got like 2 other Shudderwalks in your hand, so you can play it again, and you can play it again. Meanwhile, it's also activating some kind of battle cry that is doing damage to the enemy's hero health power, or destroying the enemy's minions, or doing just a lot of things. And inherently, this always ends up where you're playing a turn for a very, very long time, watching all of these activations and these animations happen. It's not a quick experience. If you're playing Spell Hunter and you play this, which clearly this is a great card for Spell Hunter, this is going to be slow. And the last thing any collectible card game needs is to become even slower. On top of that, I think you could probably play Shudderwalk, unless it's a Shaman only card, on top of this, and after you play this and it casts all the spells that have been played in a game, and then you play Shudderwalk, wouldn't it then cast all the spells again, doubling the length of a Shudderwalk, which is already insanely long? This seems a little crazy. It really does. I would not have had yet another card that does that. Now, the good thing I would say about this is they are adding slowly hero replacement cards, but they didn't give one for Druid. So I imagine what they're going to do is, over the course of 3 or 4 expansions, every hero class will get at least one hero replacement. So at any point in gameplay, there will be at least 1, probably 2 hero replacement cards. I think there'll probably be at least 1, probably 2 expansions, quest cards too. I don't want to spend a lot of time looking at all of the Hunter class cards, but I would like to say the strategies here seem pretty obvious. I don't think we're running into a scenario where there's going to be a major sneaky surprise here. You could play Spell Hunter and make a few changes to Spell Hunter, or you could play a Beast deck with Scavenging Hyena and make a few tweaks to that. Scavenging Hyena, whenever a friendly beast dies, gain +2/+1. I'm suspecting you could do that 12 times in one turn with just a couple other cards. Unleash the Hounds, I believe, is the card. Here we go. For each enemy minion, summon a 1/1 Hound with charge. I was calling them 1/1 boars, so I was wrong about that. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of things you could do. Here's the other hero replacement, which created a custom Zombeast. This is a much more imaginative hero replacement ability than what the new one is. Yeah, this is a very unimaginative ability. And see, we have, yeah, no real tricks there. So I'm trying to keep this short and sweet, so that's going to be the Hunter class cards. don't really need to say anything else. So, as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on things like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. Also, there are links where you can support me, either by friending me on Steam and gifting me a game off my wishlist, or by supporting me directly through Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.